Welcome to the SOAR Show. I'm Kathleen.
Hey, I'm Sheila.
And I'm Carrie, and today we're outside at a park.
Yay! We're social distancing. There's literally no one around.
Listen, the wind is blowing everything past us. We're safe.
Yeah.
Okay, today we're going to talk about first impressions. We hope your first impression wasn't that we were risking our lives out here in the area. We're not. We're good. But we're talking about first impressions.
Yeah.
But first, our words of the day. What you got?
My word of the day is Heatwave. Y'all, it is so hot. And here's a tiny health tip maybe. Remember your animals. And we know children and flowers, but think about your pets. If you don't have shade, they need shade and water. A lot of people think that the best thing to do for your dog is to shave their hair really short when it's this hot outside.
Yeah, I would think that.
Certain dogs have a secondary undercoat that's like a wicking coat that helps them not be so hot. Is the word.
Okay.
Whisk the heat away. So look up your dog breed. Be familiar with your dog breed, and make sure your outdoor animals have water and shade.
You may have just shaved off his cooling system.
Exactly. Yeah. Look that up.
On oh shit moment.
That's very important. Yeah.
My word is commit, and I think that word is real important in everyday life. This isn't about just right now. Just commit. I think that's the biggest step we miss a lot of times in life, in anything we do, in marriage, in parenting, in jobs, in a hobby, a passion, is we forget the step called commit to it and see it through. So my word today is to encourage everyone who has a passion, who's going through a difficult time, political stuff going on, just really get in touch with your inner self as to where you stand on something and then commit to it.
Yeah.
Because once you commit and sign up and see something through to the end, you're going to be proud of yourself, and that's healthy.
That's
It
very
is.
healthy.
Yeah.
And it's important to teach your children that too. I know we all have kids, and when they sign up for an event, or an activity like sports or dance, and want to stop
Sometimes
halfway
they wanna
through.
quit before they, yes.
Yes, it's like
That's a very good
when they
word.
say it takes you like 21 days to create a habit, so it needs
Yeah.
to make your kids stick with something long enough
Yeah.
for them to find their passion for it.
But we're talking about dieting now.
That's a good life skill. Just to learn commitment and follow through
Yeah.
and completion.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
What's your word?
Lots of traffic around. My word sort of ties in with our topic today of first impressions. My word is beauty. You know, you see things, it could be a house, a car, a person, and you could think, that's beautiful. But beauty is not just on the surface. Beauty goes all the way to the bone, and so does ugly. So don't forget that. So yeah, my word is beauty because I see nature as
She says that as her hair blows in the wind
Beautifully
on a
in the
beautiful
wind.
summer day.
totally unintended.
Totally
unintended.
You're talking about nature. I have kind of flipped in my old age from being afraid of bees, but now I go out to my garden with my plants that I've planted. I think how
They
beautiful
protect
these
them.
bees are.
They're
I'm-
pretty.
Of course.
You know, and the whole thought behind the bee is a beautiful story, that they're not even
Yes, it
supposed to
is.
be able to fly.
That's right. Their
They're
body's
not.
too heavy for their wings.
So remember to
But
be
they
a
do.
beautiful bee. Their body's too
Yeah,
heavy
that's
for their
right.
wings, but they fly anyway.
Yeah. So find your beauty.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
What do we got? Are you
Fun
doing
Fun
that?
fact. Fun
Or do you want to do a
fact.
current event while she thinks about the
Yeah.
fact? I got a feeling she doesn't have one right now.
I don't know.
This is a really great fun fact, and it too ties in with our topic of the day, first impressions. So did you know that it only takes about 4 minutes for you to decide if you like someone or not? But the
I didn't think it
interesting,
would take 4 minutes.
well, here's why. The interesting thing is it has more to do with body language than what you say or do or the tone of your voice. Yeah, it's
can
body
see that,
language. You form an opinion very quickly based on someone's body language.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
And it would take you at least 4 minutes for them to do some body motion.
So-
Okay, current event.
You know what? We were talking about this at lunch about this isn't really a current event, but the RV and boat sales skyrocketing.
Yes.
And we were
That
talking
is
about
current event.
second homes and things like that. I mean, it is amazing with what's going on that people are wanting to vacation but not take not go to Myrtle Beach or, the hot spots, Disney World or whatever, but wanting to just vacation small and close by with their family and get out into nature and enjoy it. So
I think that's it too. Because
Yeah.
on the water you feel like, I'm not under anybody's rules. I've got space around me. I'm with
Yeah.
my family and friends.
Camper sales
Yeah.
are up, boat
Yep.
sales are up.
Camper sales and boat sales.
I have one of each and I'm willing to sell both.
Or let them.
Message
We
me
need to
private.
talk to you about your boat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. We have a pontoon on Percy Priest. We have a small vintage camper. We didn't pay much for. I mean, it's tiny, but it's fun to just to get out
Yeah.
and go to Fall Creek Falls, or we have great state parks in Tennessee. It's just
Kathleen
amazing.
with her Airbnb,
Yeah.
her pontoon boat, her camper. She's a one-woman show.
Got a lot of toys.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk today about first impressions, and I think that is a great topic, Sheila.
I love it, Sheila.
We
Thank
came up
you,
with that
thank
last
you.
night. I mean, why is that a thing? Why is first impressions so important?
Well, it really is. Whether you're going on a job interview, a date with someone for the first time,
Yeah.
and like we were talking about, it's just we often make the mistake of judging a book before we know what's inside, and that's all about the first
Both
impression.
ways. Both ways. You can think someone's amazing and find out later not.
That's right.
So it works
Yeah.
both ways. There's something called primary effect, and I thought the topic was so great, so I kind of was doing some reading on it. But there's something called primary effect, and what happens is that's the sequence of something happening in an event that you go through. So what was the sequence of it? And they have found that the very first image in the sequence is what you remember the longest. So
That's an interesting
that's
fact. I
how
like that.
that's one reason first impressions is so important. But there's also something called a halo effect, meaning that we kind of crown someone with a thought process the first time we meet them.
Yeah.
And the halo could also be like devil's horns. You assume because you had this one impression of them the first time you met them that it will carry over into everything else you do with that person.
Yeah.
And it always sometimes can end up being a fail. Maybe they're not what you thought they were to begin, but that's kind of something called a halo effect where you
Like people excuse bad behavior because they have this preconceived notion that they're a good person, and that's not their fault.
That's
'Cause-
the-
yeah.
And
or vice versa.
I've known many couples who, when you hear their story, how they met, they didn't even like each other to begin with. And that's that first impression for whatever reason,
Yes.
might be applicable,
Uh-huh.
but that's something that's not uncommon at all, or even friends. I know I have a very, very, very close friend to this day, and I didn't like her at all when I met her.
See?
At all. And she probably didn't like me at all either. She was very northern, I was very southern, and we just had different ways of looking at things. And once we broke down those barriers and allowed ourselves to talk and get to know each other,
Yeah.
everything went by the wayside. And we've been
Yeah.
great, great friends, gosh, for 30, I'd say 30 years now.
First impression when you saw the adorable Billy Lunsford. remember the
Listen
first-
up, Billy.
That's SOAR rated. I think.
Ah, good job, Billy.
Yeah,
We've seen
probably
Billy's
should
old
not-
pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should not talk about that. It was
So-
all good, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he danced, so
Aw,
Oh,
that's
mine
precious.
danced too.
yeah, dancing.
Mine sang.
Yeah, men.
Oh,
men.
and mine sang. Well,
Well, I didn't know
See?
mine sang when I first got hooked on him, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were
Tip-
all very.
Yeah, here's a tip for men. For our male watchers, I'm going to tell you right now. The way to a woman's heart is to make her laugh and dance with her. If
I
you
agree.
can do those two
Yeah.
things, you could probably
Yeah.
have any woman you want.
Greg Higley
Right?
says that on stage all the time at the Far Cry shows. Men, I'm telling you, if you'll learn how to dance, you're going to get a woman.
You don't even have
That's
to
it.
dance well.
No,
That's
you have to dance
exactly
well.
right.
Has to be willing to get on that floor
Yeah.
and have that
And
moment.
have fun. And have fun with
and
it.
that does make a big difference.
Have
To
that
be
moment.
lighthearted and be able to
Yeah.
laugh at yourself or the situation.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Not always, yeah.
It's that
business.
first impression.
Mhm.
That'll make a good one.
Well, here's a really great example of how a first impression is not clear. It can be negative, and then you're like, wow. Everyone think of Einstein.
Mm-hmm.
Your first impression is that crazy old man, but he turned that mad scientist face into the face of genius. Sometimes we are wrong about people, and we find out later, like you did.
Yes, yes.
It'd be interesting to hear people's stories about how they had somebody dead wrong.
Yeah.
Both ways.
It really would. It really would. Here's another thing too. Go back, I don't know, let's just say 50 years. When body art, tattoos, as they were called, way back in the day,
I thought about this,
tattoos were taboo. In many cases, they were frowned upon. Just like there was a period of time where if a young man had long hair, the very first impression people had of him was he was a hoodlum. You know, he was just up to no good. And it's so interesting to look over time. Now body art is very well accepted.
Right.
People do their whole sleeves,
Yeah.
their back, their entire body, and it's artwork. And the perception today is very different from a first impression
Yes.
of several, or
Yeah.
at least a couple of generations ago.
I will say this though, it hasn't completely changed because recently I moved from Benchmark to Music City Experts as a real estate agent. But it was me searching for the right home for myself. And I went and interviewed with, and when you're interviewing in real estate, it's not a job. We're independent contractors. Everyone's just trying to find a good fit. It's not like, but when I was sitting there with the broker having a conversation and I'm like this and talking and dressed kind of like I dress, but at some point I was like this and I saw her eyes go straight to my tattoos on my arm. And I thought then, I'm out. She's already not digging me. She's judging me on this.
Interesting.
And I even asked her too. I said, "Did you look me up before I even came in here?" And she's like, "No, I didn't." And I thought, okay, well, this is over. But
Well, she obviously, whatever that first impression was, it worked well because it worked out.
well, no, I went with someone else.
Oh, it's a different.
So
okay.
her first impression of me was dead wrong. She saw
I
tattoos
gotcha.
and probably didn't realize that I'm okay at real estate.
Yeah, yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, a little better than okay.
But anyway, okay, so here's what I have. A little list from a website called Mind Tools. And these are their top 8 first impression suggestions. What's important on a first impression.
Okay.
Number 1, be on time.
Critical.
Number 2, dress appropriately. And that just means think about what are you going to,
Sure.
Dressing appropriately could mean high heels and a miniskirt if you're going to a dance, on Broadway.
Cleavage is okay at Hooters, but
Cleavage
probably
is
not at a job
okay.
interview.
Yes.
Unless it is at Hooters.
A
There is
cowboy
that.
hat's okay at the honky tonk, but probably not at your interview. Yeah. No, this is the best one I love. Be yourself.
Yeah.
Because I kind of want to be myself, and I need to know already if we're not going to work out. Because I'm not going to live a fake life.
Yeah.
So, are we good with this or not? Yeah, so be yourself. Have a winning smile. Right. A smile
Yeah.
is important because it lets your heart just open to someone else.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it invites them in.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
agree.
Be open and confident. Now, us little boss ladies are confident all day long.
That's true.
Yeah. Use small talk. Definitely already plan some small talk questions because the other person wants to know you were interested in them too.
Right.
Yeah.
Little snippets. Short snippet.
Yeah.
You don't want to go on and on and on about your personal life in an interview, but you want to,
Well, this
have
isn't even about
bullet
interviews.
points.
This is just first
Oh, there you
impressions,
go.
even at a cocktail party.
well, you still don't want to go on and
You
on.
still don't want to go on and on.
Y'all know that person that you can't get away from.
Several.
Yes. Yeah, that want to know
When
how's
you
your
get
mom and
through that-
them.
Yeah. When you get through that, I want to add something. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you're going to get to. Okay. Number 7, be positive. No one likes a
yes.
negative Nelly.
No, because they're already trying to backpedal their way out of that conversation if it gets too negative.
Yeah, like, okay, I got to go get another refill. Yeah. And here's the number 8, which is be courteous and attentive. And I think that's really important. People want to know that you're listening. Because what do they say about it's really not how you felt in a moment, it's how did you leave other people feeling.
Eye contact is important with that. Doesn't it drive you
Very.
crazy if you're telling someone something important and they're looking to the left and the right to see who else they can talk to next?
Yeah.
That's the attentiveness.
Yes.
It's really and truly all about being there in the moment, being present, and all the things you just described are good life skills. These are life skills whether you're at work, in a social event, hanging at the ball field with your kids and all the mamas and daddies of the kids. These are good skills for everyday life. But I just wanted to add to it, what really is critical to me to make a good impression is to be focused on who you're talking to and talk more about them. Ask questions about them more so than you talk about yourself. So I think that's one of the best ways to make first impressions.
Yeah, it's important, but I think it's also a trick in interviews, in a way. If you go in kind of asking them more about themselves, you
People
kind
love
of
to talk
just
about
put
themselves.
yourself in the
Yes, they
driver's
do.
seat of the interview.
One little thing I always try to do is repeat someone's name to them.
Perfect.
Helps me remember their name. Because how many times you go, oh, what was that great person that I talked, what was their name? But if you repeat it, you'll remember it, and then they realize that you're listening.
But don't repeat it 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't end every
Oh.
sentence with their name.
Have
You
you-
know what I'm talking about, Carrie, right?
Yes,
So cool,
Carrie. And we are here for you, Carrie.
Don't do that.
How many times that happened, like on the phone with a credit card company or
Yes.
AT&T?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carrie, for calling in today. Now we're going to be right back with you, Carrie. Carrie, does that sound good to you? Oh my God.
Sales.
Yeah.
Everybody runs from salespeople.
Right.
Yeah. But you know, the bottom line is the way for someone to really, for you to create someone to like you is to make them feel important.
Yeah.
That is the bottom
Absolutely.
line.
Wow,
So
you just said it. That makes somebody feel important.
yeah, that's it.
Here's the bottom line too, because this was a great sentence that was just on this website I was reading, was first impressions matter, but substance has the final word.
Absolutely.
Substance has the final word, because you can give a great impression, wear all the right things, say all the right things, but who are you really in the thereafter with that person?
Right.
Is there substance that's going to carry that relationship on? So
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, just definitely there's a great balance, because you ask them too many questions, they might feel like you're FBI.
True.
If you talk all about yourself,
True.
you lose your audience. In sales, you know, I was taught you give a little bit of information and then you ask for information back. So it's a give and take. You want to have a balance.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And you know
Make
how
a
to
great
really
first
probably
impression.
find that balance, and this is just me kind of thinking of this while you're saying that. When you feel like you've been asked enough by them, you've probably already asked enough the opposite way. So that's when there's probably a mutual, if you start getting tired of them, then they might be at the point of getting tired of you.
And
Does that
that's
make
reading.
sense?
That's again social skills. You're reading
Yeah.
body language at that point,
Right.
and
Exactly.
it's important to know when it's time.
Yeah.
When okay,
Yeah.
catch you later. I'm going over here now.
Speaking of, I think it's time. That was a
time.
good topic. We're
That
gonna
was a
move-
good topic.
Rebecca's not here today, and we miss her so much, and we also miss her health tips. I'm going to give one really quickly, because we're in such a different time than any of us. I mean, we are like Stranger Things, right?
Mhm.
What are we waking up to next? I mean, the heat wave, COVID, pandemic, you know, the George Floyd, just hostility and just fragile conversations. But anyway, don't get down and depressed, because when things are like this, you can get down quickly if you don't stay real in tune with yourself and keep yourself up. So I would say to me, and I thought about this because of my good walk around Nashville this morning, how great I felt when I got back.
Mm-hmm.
Keep moving.
Get outside. I mean, there's
That's
nobody
right.
here for social distancing. You could go through the drive-through or pack your lunch. Better yet, come out here and have a beautiful day. I mean,
Yeah.
we know we're in the middle of a heat wave, but it's cool and comfortable. And this would be a nice little lunchtime getaway from the office to.
Vitamin D.
That's
out
right.
here.
That's
Yeah.
right. Vitamin D.
Yeah.
Vitamin D,
Definitely.
vitamin C, but move, exercise, because that's what they say about exercise, and get the blood moving, and then your endorphins are
Yeah.
ignited, running. I don't even know what endorphins do. I've just heard
Release.
that word. How many people
That's
don't
what
kill
makes
their
you feel
husbands?
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Endorphins make you feel great.
Remember that in Legally Blonde? I'm always quoting Amy. She's like, half the people don't kill their husbands. What she's talking about was exercise
Yeah.
and getting your endorphins going in your
Flowing.
body. So take care of yourself.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything
Mentally,
else?
spiritually, physically. That's it, I guess.
Y'all
That's
have a
right.
great week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll be back next week
Yes.
with more SOAR.